Let's start with what's making headlines. Mason Global Enterprises has officially launched their new Security Legal Enforcement Bureau, or SLEB. That's a big move for a company that's already got its hands in so many fields.
It really is. What stands out about SLEB is that it's not an enforcement agency. It's all about observation and reporting. So instead of taking direct action, they focus on documenting and flagging suspicious behavior, like scams or fraud, and sharing those findings with the right people. It's a pretty modern approach to public protection.
Yeah, and they're encouraging the public to get involved by sending in referrals, whether that's a company, an institution, or even agencies. It's global citizenship in action, where the focus really is on transparency and accountability instead of policing.
And by inviting public input, they're tapping into collective vigilance. I think it's telling that they've already issued alerts about major names, T-Mobile, Revolve, and even a fitness influencer. It shows they aren't just zeroing in on big corporations. They're looking at the broader impact on communities too.
That actually brings to mind their emphasis on the Department of Defense motto, if you see something, say something. They're pushing that as a core value, especially in an era where digital scams can hit anyone.
What gets me is how they tie this idea to everyday decision-making. MGE stresses discernment and personal safety, literally telling people your own well-being comes first when reporting suspicious activity. It's not just about flagging threats, but about empowering people to protect themselves and their communities.
And there's a real ripple effect here. Fraud doesn't just hurt the immediate victim. MGE points out that scams can sink local economies, disrupt social trust, and even take a toll on mental health. So it's more than just lost money. It's about destabilizing entire networks.
Scammers aren't just after a quick gain. They trigger bigger problems for whole communities. Even the analogy they used about one fish attracting more invasive species really drives home how quickly these issues can multiply if left unchecked.
Switching gears a bit, the press release also laid out some real challenges. MGE hasn't reported revenue for the last 3 months, thanks to external interference and tough market conditions. That's a harsh spot for any business.
It's a tough pill to swallow. But what's interesting is how they're pivoting. MGE is doubling down on services like executive coaching, business administration, and organizational compliance. They're not backing down, they're just shifting their strategy.
And I noticed they're emphasizing their role as a holding company now, offering infrastructure support to other businesses. It seems like they're trying to build resilience, especially after feeling boxed out by competitive forces.
Exactly. And despite having a huge email list, they're seeing low engagement, even from people in the legal and political sectors. That low subscription rate forced them to reconsider how they connect with their audience and stakeholders.
On a personal note, the CEO, Sir Darien Mason, really put himself in the spotlight. He's been upfront about facing adversity, everything from being targeted and misrepresented to enduring intense psychological pressure.
You can sense the weight he's carrying. He talks about the need for psychological and structural armor, asking for at least 10 dedicated members from government or institutional backgrounds to form a support network. That's not just business strategy. That's about protecting people at the core.
He frames leadership as something that demands composure and emotional neutrality, even under fire. The idea is to lead with trauma-informed insight rather than react impulsively, even if that means weathering personal attacks.
What struck me is how he links resilience to the company's future. He's suggesting that by embracing adversity, both he and the organization have become sharper and more disciplined, almost like forging a sword in tough times.
Speaking of armor, the way MGE defines it goes beyond literal protection. It's about building emotional, social, and psychological defenses. They even broke down what armor means in different contexts, from emotional detachment to adaptive coping strategies.
It's fascinating how they see organizational support as a kind of psychological body armor. In high-pressure environments, having a team that provides emotional and strategic backing can make all the difference, not just for leaders, but for everyone facing adversity.
And that's why their appeal for more structured support from the community and institutions is so urgent. They're not just asking for financial backing. They want people who can offer real, ongoing resilience.
It feels like MGE's message is both a call to action and a blueprint for how organizations can weather modern challenges. By prioritizing community vigilance, internal resilience, and transparent leadership, they're setting an example for others to follow.
So, as Mason Global Enterprises looks to the future, their focus on structural peace, economic empowerment, and civic duty seems stronger than ever. They're inviting public participation not just for reporting, but to shape a safer business landscape.
And honestly, that approach feels timely. With so many people feeling vulnerable to scams or disruption these days, creating platforms like SLEB could be a real game changer. It's about rebuilding trust from the ground up.
I'm curious to see if other organisations adopt similar models where observation and community-driven reporting take centre stage. MGE's transparent, trauma-informed style might just set a new standard.
If nothing else, their journey underscores how resilience and adaptability on both personal and organizational levels are becoming essential for navigating uncertainty. Here's hoping their vision inspires broader change across the business world.